Welcome back to the channel, and in today's Blender tutorial I'm going to show you step by step how to make a bowling simulation in Blender. We'll be modeling everything, setting it up, and even doing a bit of lighting and materials, but the main thing here is focusing on making this simulation. Also, we have a sponsor today. If you want to take your 3D skills to the next level, then you're going to love today's sponsor, Wingfox. So one of the courses on here you'll love is this one that takes you through the process of taking a 3D scene in Blender and turning it into a really awesome concept piece like this. Not only do you get the first 2 lessons for free before you want to commit and pay, you can also go, they have a whole bunch of resources, you can have discussions, and over here you can see some details. This course has over 23 hours of video, 4 downloadable resources, lifetime access, and you only need Blender or Photoshop or something similar to Photoshop. So that's definitely one you want to check out. Another one, and this course is really interesting. We all know materials can be really tricky in Blender, but this one takes you through pro level materials, 17 different types, all in one video, 30 hours of content and downloadable resources. Once again, you get lifetime access and it's beginner friendly. So if you're interested in learning materials at an industry level, high-end professional stuff, this one is going to be something you're really going to enjoy as well, and it's at a reasonable price for 30 hours of high quality content. So if you're ready to take your skills to the next level, definitely go into the description below where you'll find the appropriate links that'll take you to where you can sign up and start using Wingfox. So let's jump into the tutorial. Okay, so let's start with a new scene in Blender. We're going to select all of the default objects and we're going to press delete. And then we're going to go Shift A. We're going to go to our mesh options, add in a circle. And then let's go into edit mode. And with our vertex select option enabled, we're going to go to our top view and just select the corner vertex here on the side. And then go Control I to inverse the selection and go X and delete vertices. So we have one single vert here to the side. And if we go into our front view, we can go over to our modifiers, add modifier, search and type in screw. Let's get a screw modifier. And now we can go with this vertex selected, E to extrude and extrude it up. And let's go like so and then go E to extrude again, E to extrude. And I'm going to make the bottom profile something that kind of looks like the bottom of a bowling pin, just like this. And then I'm going to go E to go in and kind of make a neck, go up, then go E to extrude out and kind of make just like a round at the top, bringing it back in together over here like that. So this is the profile that you can see over here, and it spins all the way around with the screw tool. So just come over here now and enable merge. And we also want to just grab this bottom vertex and in wireframe, just extrude it in and bring it in till it touches in the middle here. And over here, it's also touching. That's why we have the merge enabled. So they kind of fuse together automatically. And this might not look very accurate. So you can always get the proportional editing. I would recommend you add in a reference in the back or look at a reference when you're making this. But I'm going to go with something like this. I'm just going to keep it basic. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go add modifier, search, and I'm going to type in sub and get a subdivision surface. And over here at the bottom, if it's funny like this, just grab this corner vertex and go Control Shift B and just create a bevel on that vertex just to tighten up that corner like so. And let's just tab out of edit mode and let's just go over to our screw modifier and apply it, and then apply our subdivision surface. Tab into edit mode and press A to select everything and go Alt and just recalculate the outside normals to fix any weird normals like that. If we now also tab back into object mode, we can see that our origin point sits at the bottom. So if we double tap R, it's in the wrong place. So we're just going to press F3 on our keyboard in object mode and type in origin to geometry. And now the origin is sitting more in the center here, a little bit higher up. Okay, let's just, before we duplicate this, also just go to our materials, click new. Let's just call this pin. And we'll leave it under the viewport display as white, but we're gonna go plus and go new, and let's just call this band. And in the viewport display, let's just make this red. You can make whatever color you want. And I'm gonna tab into edit mode and just select a band like this and just go ahead and assign that band just a few faces. And that's just an extra decorative touch. But the idea here now is we have a pin and we're gonna go Shift A and add in a plane. This pin is way too big, so let's select it and go S. And to make it scale down properly, let's just go over here and change our transform pivot to 3D cursor. And because our 3D cursor is still in the world origin, we can just go S and scale this down. And we're gonna make it about this big, something like that. Okay, relative to the plane. And we're gonna go Control A and apply that scale. And then let's come and change this to pivot transform back to median point. And then let's go to our top orthographic view. And with this bowling pin selected, we're gonna go Shift D to duplicate and place one behind here. And then Shift D to place another one behind like so. And then holding and Shift select both of these new ones and go Shift D to duplicate and place another one here. And then grab one here and go Shift D and just move it over to the side. And then if you want to, you could just go grab these three at the back and go Shift D, duplicate another one and move it up. And now you have kind of like a standard set like this. I think this is how many you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've never played bowling, so I'm just gonna assume, but you can, do that research yourself. So I'm gonna go ahead and now select this floor. I'm gonna go S to scale it up a bit. Then I'm gonna go S, Y and scale it along the Y till it's about this long. And I'm gonna go G, Y and move it more forward in a scene like this. So in our front view, we're looking at it like this. Then we're gonna press A to select everything. And because we've scaled some of these things in the object mode, we're gonna go Control A and apply the scale. That's very important because our physics is going to look at the object scale. So if you don't do that, you could have some weird interaction. So make sure everything's active, Control A and apply scale. So I'm double emphasizing that. Now we're going to go Shift A. We're going to add in a UV sphere. And we're going to just go and bring it up. And let's tab into edit mode. And I'm just going to go and make a really lazy ball here. I'm going to just go and select 4 faces like this. I'm going to go I to insert it and then click, and I'm going to go Shift Alt S and round it out, and then just go E to extrude in like so. And then in my right orthographic view, I might just grab 4 faces here and 4 faces here, and I'm going to go I to insert, click, and then I'm going to come here and change this to individual origins and go Shift Alt S and then go E to extrude and extrude those 2 in, something like that. And I'm going to change this back to median point under the pivot transform. I'm going to tab back out and I'm going to go to my modifiers and give it a subdiv modifier like so. And I'm going to right click and go shade smooth. That's a very lazy and quick bowling ball. You can spend more time on it, but I'm going to go with that. I'm now going to go S to scale this guy down, and I'm going to place it here just to kind of get a rough gauge on the size relative to the pins, and that looks good. Because I scaled it, I'm going to go Control A and apply the scale. That's super important. And then in the right orthographic view, I'm going to come here, I'm going to go G and move this guy over here. And we're going to do a quick little animation of this getting kind of moved. So what we're going to do, we're going to place it towards the end of our lane here. And we're going to come here to frame 1. And with it active, we're going to press I, and that's going to insert a keyframe. If you have an older version of Blender, you're going to see a bunch of options come up. And you're just going to click on location. But in Blender 4.2, it doesn't give you that option. You just press I. We're then going to come over to frame 10. And on frame 10, we're going to go enable auto keying. And in our right orthographic view, we're going to go G and move this about here and down a little bit. And then we're going to turn off auto keying. So now we've added a keyframe for that position. So now it's going from frame 1 to frame 10. It's going that distance. So what we're going to do is just select both of these keyframes, press T, and let's make the animation linear, like so. And what we want to do, we want this to have physics kind of kick in at the right time. So what we're going to do with this ball selected, we're going to go over to our physics. We're going to give it a rigid body. We're going to come over here and take the shape and make it sphere. And we're going to come here to the sensitivity, collision margin, and let's make this 0.002. And then let's select our floor. Let's give that a rigid body. Let's come here to the type and make it passive. And under the shape, let's make it mesh. And let's make the margin under the sensitivity 0.002. And then let's select our ball over here, our sphere. And if we were to go to frame 1 and hit the spacebar, it's just going to fall because we don't have animated enabled. So we're going to click on animated. And we need to come to frame 10. And in frame 10, we want to come here to the animated property and click on this little key here. It now turns yellow on frame 10. That means it's animated from frame 1 to 10. But then we're going to go 1 frame up to frame 11. And now we're going to turn off the animated property and click on the keyframe again. So now at the first little bit, the first 10 frames, it's going to be animation. And then in one frame, it's going to switch over and it's going to carry on that physics. And the rigid body now takes over. Okay, so have a look at that. So we go to frame 1, hit the spacebar. We've got that. Okay, pretty cool. So let's also now come over here and select one of our bowling pins. And then holding in shift, just click and drag and select the rest of them. And you'll see the main one here is a different orange because it's the main active element. And we're going to go over here, give it a rigid body. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come down to the shape, and under the collision properties here for the shape, we're going to make it mesh. And once again, under the sensitivity, we're going to make it 0.002. And so all of them have this. We're going to press F3 and type in copy from, and click on copy from active. And now all of these pins have that same property. So if we go to frame 1 and we hit the spacebar, we should now see this. And the thing here is really cool. It's because you can see it doesn't have enough mass to knock these pins. If you grab the ball, you can actually come here to the physics and see that the mass is 1 kilo. So if you bump this up to something like 7 kilos, then go back to frame 1 and you hit the spacebar, now it has a lot more mass. So you can play around with that mass. I might make it something like 4 and then go back to frame 1 and see what that does. I think I'm going to stick with 4. That looks really good. Okay, so now we have that. So what we're going to do, we're going to come to our end frame value, make it 100 frames, like so. Let's go to our scene properties, and under our rigid body world, let's change under the cache, let's make it also 100 frames. And then we're going to click here on bake, and we're going to bake this simulation into our blend file, like so. And there we have it. So now you can go Shift A, add in a camera. And you can position your camera wherever you want. I'm going to position mine about here. I'm going to press 0 to go into camera view and just rotate it like so. And you can scrub through the animation to kind of see where it's at. Now for this example here, I'm just going to leave the camera stationary, but you could always enable auto keying, and you can come through here, and as your animation's happening, you can rotate and move your camera to kind of like make it match. And I guess we could probably do that. So let's quickly do it. I'm going to go to frame 8 and I'm going to kind of move down a little bit like so over here to where the ball is. And then I might just drag through the animation and just move my camera along with it. But this is something you guys can kind of do and customize in your own way, how you want the camera to look at your animation. But I'm just going to move up something like that. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. So now it's kind of going along like that. Cool. But that's an optional thing. You can set it up however you want. But now that we have this, make sure it's all saved. And we're going to go to our render settings. We're going to go to our render engine and change it to cycles. And under the render max samples here, let's just make that 50. And now we're going to go Shift A. Under our light options, we're going to add in an area light. We're going to go G to move it up. And under our light properties, let's give it a strength of 120. Let's increase the size a little bit and then rotate it. And now you can go Z and go rendered. And let's go Shift D to duplicate this, rotate it again. And I'm going to have 2 like this, and then I'm going to go Shift D, have one kind of coming from the back, facing in like so. Pretty cool. And then you can also go over to your world properties. You can go to your color here. Let's give this a sky texture. Let's make the strength 0.3. You can also use a HDRI if you want, a high dynamic range image, but this is just what I'm going to go with for now. You can also come here to the sun rotation and kind of mess around with that as well till you get something that you like. I'm also going to come to my render properties here, and for me, I'm just going to go to my film and enable transparent. If you wanted to, you could add any background or world environment that you want, but for now, this is what I'm going to go with. So let's start by selecting our bowling ball. Let's go over to our materials, click new and call it ball. I'm going to make the base color red or reddish. And then I'm going to come here to the roughness and bring it down to a very low value. And I'm going to come here to the coat and give it a weight of about 0.4, 0.5, round about there. Now if you go Z and go rendered, you can see we have a nice shiny looking ball here. I might just saturate that a little bit more. And then we're going to select our bowling pins. And earlier we added those placeholder materials. So for the pin, we're just going to bring the roughness down low. And then we're going to go to the band and bring the roughness down low as well. And for the base color for the band, we'll kind of give it a reddish kind of color as well. I'm going to select my ball. I might make it more of an orangey kind of color, like that. And that's it. And if you wanted to, you can go on the internet and get like a image texture of some wood and add it to your floor. I already have a PBR material in my library, so I'm just going to go and add it, but you guys can add whatever you want. For me, it's just this laminate floor material that I got off Polyhaven, and I'm just going to add it to my floor. Okay, so if that's done, I'm also just going to go to my render properties. I'm going to go down and enable motion blur. I'm going to make sure to save, and then I'm going to just kind of scrub through my animation, just kind of get a shot that I think looks really good. Something like this. And then let's go render and just do a test render of that frame by clicking on render image. And there we have it. If you wanted to now, and you're happy with this, or you have added in the scene, whatever you've done, you can go over here to your output, select the destination under the output folder, and then you can change the file format to video over here. You can go to the encoding and then make the container whatever you want. I always like to go with an MP4. And then after saving, you can go render and then render out your animation, which might take a little while, just depending on the strength of your computer. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I will be uploading my original to my Patreon, so that's all in the description below if you guys want to check that out. I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.